Welcome to the virtual open house for the ANC Animation and Character Design program. This is a postgraduate certification program. So if you don't have an undergrad degree in a related field or a number of years working professionally, this is not the right program for you. You might want to check out the ANI program, the 3D animation program, or the VGD program, the video game development program. I'm the coordinator for the ANC program, David Latour. Hi. You can check out my resume on LinkedIn, or you can see my filmography, the work that I've done in the past, here on Internet Movie Database. And I always recommend you sort of check out the backgrounds of any instructors in a program that you're thinking about joining. The ANC program takes place at the London downtown campus. The bulk of the classes, 3 to 4 of them, are on-site in person at this campus, with the balance being live sessions online, so online synchronous. If you're interested, you can take a virtual tour of the facility. If you're not here physically on site at the downtown campus today, click on this link and it'll take you to Fanshawe College's YouTube page, and you can actually watch a walkthrough of the space. Now, the ANC program is pretty cool. We've got some awesome equipment. So if you are on site, you can check out the gear that we've got here. So if you log into any one of the computers with this username, FC/openhouse, and then use the password Fanshawe1 with a capital F, you'll log into the computer and you can start trying it out. Now, these displays, especially the Cintiq displays, are very high-end equipment, very expensive, and so something you probably don't get often an opportunity to work with. Borrow a stylus from one of the presenters, and go to photopea.com, and it's basically just an online version of Photoshop clone that allows you to sort of do digital drawing and stuff. So if you're anything like me, you'll probably enjoy this presentation a whole lot more if you're doodling whilst it's going on. So if you're on site, check that out. The ANC program, it's got those 5 classes each semester. It's 2 semesters long. And each of the classes are as follows. There's a digital drawing class, and this is where you're going to be sort of covering some of the basics of drawing with structure, anatomy, things like that. Now, it presupposes that you have some prior experience drawing, that this isn't the first time you've picked up a pen or pencil and tried to create things with it, but it's going to give you sort of better structure, better skill in your drawing. And then in the second term, you're using it to design the characters that you're going to be creating at the end of the program. The other class that you're going to be doing a fair bit of drawing in initially is the pre-production class. This is where you start planning your thesis film. You're going to be doing some digital storyboarding. You're going to do some small live action project just using cell phones, learning about camera language and filmography and things like that. There's a modeling class, and we use ZBrush for these classes and the Cintiq tablets. This is where you're going to be learning how to sculpt in ZBrush so you can create that creature at the end of the program. Then there's an animation class. We're working in Autodesk Maya. And in the second semester, you'll actually be animating the characters that you yourself have sculpted, rigged, and created. But in the first semester, you're just sort of learning some basics of animation in Maya. Then we've got the texture and lighting. Now, this class uses the Unreal Engine as well as Maya we use Unreal Engine as sort of a lighting engine. And this is where you take your textured, rigged, animated characters into Unreal, get it lit and rendered so it looks like a finished product in real time. It's a really cool program. So in the course of the open house, this is sort of where they ask us to put on our salesman hat and pitch, sort of what kind of careers folks in our program would enjoy. And while we've had some good success with our grads, truthfully, it is a tough industry. It's a narrow pathway to being employable. I would say our employment numbers are very good, but truthfully, most of these folks, there's a few secrets to their success. What is possible in 2 semesters? The ANC is a 2-semester program, 15 weeks each semester, so we're talking 30 weeks. Now, we do move at an incredibly fast pace in the program, but let's think about how much you can actually learn in that time. Are you going to be able to start ANC and by the end be an employable digital artist? Well, it kind of depends what you were doing before. The folks that have had good employment success, well, they have prior experience coming into the program. They have an undergraduate degree in a related field, digital animation or modeling or something like that, and they're sort of finishing off their education in ANC. Truthfully, there are simply no shortcuts. It all comes down to the number of hours you've worked. If you were at the very beginning of your journey, well, I can get you 2 semesters down the road, but you're going to need additional training after ANC. So if this is a career pivot for you, you have an undergraduate degree in a sort of a semi-related field, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I want to be a digital model or a digital animator or something like that. Well, here's the truth. It takes about 3 years of training to become an employable digital artist. There's no shortcuts. There's no sidestepping it. That's just the reality. That's how much training it takes. So I can get you 2 semesters, sort of a year of training, but the rest is on you. Give that some serious consideration, especially for folks that are doing a career pivot. If you were coming into ANC, and it's going to assume that when you start the ANC program, you have some good basic drawing skills and you're comfortable, proficient, familiar with using computer systems. Maybe you haven't used any of the tools or softwares that we're using in the program, but you've used something similar. Maybe you've played around with Blender, or you've played around with GIMP or a free drawing tool or something like that. If you're coming into the program and you have absolutely zero drawing skills, or you have phenomenal drawing skills and you've never used a computer in your life, it's going to be a significant challenge for you. So you need to be prepared for that. Now, we do start sort of at ground one with all of our tools, but we move at an incredibly fast pace in ANC. So you may want to sort of consider that as well if you have the right level of skill. If you have any doubt, send me some samples of your work and I can check that out and give you some guidance. As I said, there's 5 classes each term, with 1 or 2 of them being online live sessions, which means you need to have a working setup at home in order to be participating in those classes. You've got to have a computer that can run the software, headphones, microphone, good broadband connection. You want an Intuos or similar drawing tablet. And most importantly, you want a place that you can work without distraction. If you have any questions about that, check out, we've got the Fanshawe Digital Arts hardware guide here. And that'll sort of tell you all of the software and tools that you need for one of the digital arts programs. And that's good for ANI, ANC, and VGD as well. Now let me talk about the faculty in our program. I'm really proud of the team that we've assembled. These are some really, really talented people, lots of experience in their industry, and actually actively working within the industry as well as teaching. Now, I do a little bit of side work myself, but I'm primarily a full-time teacher. This changes every couple of semesters, but this is who we have currently in the teaching staff, and I'm hopeful that it'll be the same team come next fall. So check those folks out. There's links to their LinkedIn profiles there, and you can sort of see the cool stuff that they've worked on, and you can check out their portfolios as well. By now, you've probably decided that ANC might not be the right fit for you, which means I'm not really a very good salesman, but truthfully, I'm interested in making sure that the folks sitting in the seats come fall are the folks that really want to be there and it's a good fit for them. Maybe this isn't the right program for you, but I want to make sure that you haven't wasted your time seeing this presentation. So I'm going to give you some advice to help you find the place that's going to fit for you. Whenever you're looking at any program, any school, first start by checking out the teachers. You want a good mix of full-time professional teachers as well as part-time teachers who are currently active within the industry. This gives you a nice balance of folks that are going to be current, up to date on what's going on in the industry, and you're also going to have some folks that are more focused, that they're not just coming in and teaching their class and then going back to their main gig, which is a day job in the industry. They're actually paying attention to your career development, your path throughout the educational program. So you want a mix of both types of instructors within the program. If you ever want to sort of see what I'm up to, you can check out my teaching blog, dglatour.blogspot.com. I try and sort of post as much as I can about the classes that I'm teaching, what assignments students are doing on there, so you can really get a granular sense of everything that my students are up to and what we're working on. And I always find that pretty helpful. You want to look at the facilities. So the actual physical place where you're going to be doing the work. Now, for online classes, obviously that's just where you are. So it's the on-site classes. But beyond that, not just the computers, the hardware, check out the chairs or check out the floors. Is the place clean? Does it look like they're spending money and time sort of maintaining the place? Check out the school's website. Is it easy to navigate? Do you get the information that you need? When you reach out to the registrar or to folks that are sort of getting into the program, are they quick to respond? These are all indications of sort of what your educational experience is going to be like at this or any other facility. And then finally, last thing, and I highly recommend this part more than anything, is talk to students who have actually been at the school. Recent grads, connect, you can find them on LinkedIn. What was their educational experience? Ideally, somebody who's graduated from the program most recently, because they're going to have the most up-to-date experience on what that program is actually like. My job is to tell you it's an amazing program, and I think it is, but you really want to talk to somebody who's experienced it from a student's perspective, and that'll give you some good guidance for sort of shopping for the right program for you. If you ever want to check out sort of what we're doing in ANC at the end, you can actually jump on. I do all of my reviews using an online tool, SyncSketch, so that the work is there. And if you click through that link, you'll actually see some examples of final projects from ANC alums from semesters past. Most of these are really recent. These are the most recent examples of students that have done a nice job on their work. And so I keep that stuff and collect it here. And this cycle, this is where my students that I'm currently working with, this is where their final projects are going to be when I go to grade them. So you can check that stuff out if you want. There's some links here as well to some previous alums, so you can kind of see the sort of stuff that they were doing. If you're not coming to ANC, I do want to make sure that I'm going to share 5 good strategies that wherever you end up, you're going to find useful in this or any other art program or digital art program, so that you haven't wasted your time here. And I'm a teacher. I always like to teach. Here you go. Step 1, practice every day. If this is what you want to do professionally, you love this kind of thing, you should be, every morning you wake up, making a plan to, even if it's only 30 minutes, spend some time sketching, playing around in 3D software, doing the stuff that you plan to do vocationally. Even 30 minutes a day, it still adds up, and it's important to get into that practice of doing your art every day. Next, you're going to be expected to figure things out on your own a lot. Troubleshooting is a huge part of digital arts, so you should always be researching new tools, new techniques, exploring the artwork of professionals that you admire, getting some savvy about the industry you want to enter. So be curious, always be curious. I've said this before and I'll say it again because it's important. There's just no shortcuts. It's all about the hours that people put into the work. Sometimes you'll see artists that it's like, oh man, they just get it. They're so good. They learn so quickly, but they probably just started sooner, or they just put more hours in each day. And that's why it seems like they get it so quickly. Truthfully, the harder you work, the better it goes. Now, there's some people that they grasp it a little more easily than others, but I strongly believe everybody can do this as long as they're willing to put in the work. If you are an artist, you might have a tendency to sort of go off on your own and work by yourself. But truthfully, in digital arts, it's a team-based activity. There are so many complex parts to the process that specialization is an inevitable piece of that, which means you got to get used to working with others if you're going to make anything really exceptional. And especially if you want to get hired, companies, they're hiring teams. They're not hiring individuals. They want folks that are going to be able to interact well, produce successfully, and get along. Finally, never forget that your classmates are future coworkers or people that will put in a good word for you at the company they work at. So you may want a reference from your instructor. Every single interaction in your program is essentially a job interview. Do you show up on time to class? Do you commit and engage in the class, or are you daydreaming off in the back, not bothering to do the homework? These are all things that people pay attention to. So remember, every single day you show up to class or don't show up to class, that's a job interview. Treat your classes, treat your program like that, like it's a job interview. So these 5 strategies I find never go amiss in any digital arts or arts program. So see if you can employ them for yourself. Practice every day, always be curious, put in those hours, get used to collaborating with people, and treat it like it's a job interview. And I promise you'll have good success. So thanks for coming and checking out this sort of digital open house. There's my email there, dlatour@fanshawe.ca. You can reach out to me if you have any questions that I haven't answered in this open house. And then if you want to reach out and connect with the recruiting department, you can email them at myfuture@fanshawe.ca, or you can click through fanshawe.ca/connect and book an appointment with our recruitment team, and they can get you set up. So that is it. That is the presentation in a nutshell. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time to check out ANC, and I hope you find a program that's a great fit for you. Bye-bye for now.